There you are. Okay, everybody. I said the next time I did a video, I would sit up, wear a shirt, and attempt to play guitar. The trifecta of being a human being, I guess. So anyways, I'm going to attempt to do that for you now. Here we go. Okay, now if you had images of an old beat up 32 Ford red pickup truck in a junkyard, that means you must be old or be a fan of Nick at Night, because that is the theme song to Sanford Son. And anyways, I think I did okay with it. Fun to play, silly as hell. Alright, I'm doing this video only really because I'm 52 hours between doses of Xanax. So I'm feeling a lot of depersonalization. I'm feeling really freaking weird. And I feel bad for my neighbors in the building because it is early on a Sunday morning. So, evil laugh aside, yeah, should not be playing guitar this early in the morning without headphones on. But anyways, so yeah, this is my old guitar. I'm not going to talk too much about it in case you ain't interested in guitars, but it's a made in the USA, handmade carbon lefty. That it was handmade to the point where the guy had his name that I bought it off of, Brad. I had to put my foot up to stop the cat from jumping up on the computer. Anyways, he had his name Brad on this thing, which is a truss rod cover, that's called. So I took Brad's name off it because my name ain't Brad, and put this little Chinese dragon truss rod cover on it. But anyways, this is a pretty cool instrument. It's like $1,000 instrument, but for some reason carbons don't have good resale value. Who knows why? So I was pleased as punch to get it and a hard case for $1,000. And now that I've bored all non-guitar people out of their skulls, I talk about like yeah, I've got the withdrawal symptoms going on. You know, my hands were shaky. It took me 2 takes to even get through the beginning of the Sanford Son thing, and I can play that in my sleep ordinarily. This cat's menacing me over here. You know, he knows not to do stuff, but he wants to jump on the computer. I got the computer set in an unusual place. And being cats and that curiosity thing they got going on, he's like, I wonder what it'd be like to just jump in it. I don't know, we used to play like board games when we were kids. You know, back in the day, before Pong and all that crap, and video games. And, you know, you'd play a board game, and if you had a cat would go lay right in the middle of your Monopoly board, you know. And then whoever got on free parking got to keep the cat. But, anyways, yeah, I'm using Valium to space out my Xanax doses, but Valium don't cut it. For me, I guess that works for other people. but it doesn't cut it as far as the withdrawal thing. It does take the edge off it enough to allow me to space things out. Like the most I did before this 52 hours, going on 53 hours, is 37 hours between doses. And the last time that I did anywhere near 52 hours, it wasn't my choice. I had come back from the hospital on the 16th of January, and they decided not to fill my script for a couple of days. That's when I was a rookie, before I realized that the doctors, don't really give a damn if you suffer through withdrawal. It's not their problem. So, yeah, this is the most I've done. I don't know. I know Valium carries its own problems, but I also know from the Ashton manual, and I go to a psychiatrist that actually uses the Ashton manual, but he will only switch me from one to the other. He won't they don't want me to have both at the same time. And I don't ask my doctor about it because my doctor's a maniac. My regular MD and the psychiatrist told me that, he won't prescribe it as long as I'm taking Xanax. They just switch it from Xanax to Valium. And I know that there's people that have addictions to Valium and stuff, so I don't know if I'm trading like a big devil for a little devil or what with this. I just know that it doesn't really work for me as far as yeah. It doesn't work for my brain. I just I still train wreck my thoughts and stuff. I was sitting there, I was like copying my chart of I keep track of my doses, and I just write everything down, like when I'm taking it, to see how I'm progressing and stuff, because I assume benzo people watch the 48 people maybe that watch this. I assume the benzo people, okay, there's another non-functioning brain moment. Let's see if I can get that back. I assume the benzo people know about your brain just gone blank just like that, which you think that would help with guitar, because I was explaining to someone, it's like, yeah, I can play guitar, but performing on a guitar is a whole other thing with people watching you, because you start to think about people watching you, or you're thinking about a tricky passage coming up in playing on the guitar, and that is when things go south. That's when you make mistakes. That's when you lose your tempo. So, my thing that I try to do, or I've been trying to do, because I just picked it up. I haven't, I got caught in this benzo hell. I bought a nice guitar, not this one, that I wanted to experiment with, and I tore my rotator cuff 2 days after I bought it. So my arm was totally messed up and I couldn't play it. And then I started having this trouble with Xanax, and then I didn't play. So I haven't really played guitar up until the last month, for ever. I only picked up the guitar this last month because my knee is so messed up I could barely get out of the house, and you got to do something, And then I cultivated a friendship with this other guitar player, and I've been sending him videos of, me playing guitar, and we've been talking through that. I'm trying, just trying to keep my sanity, basically. But I will try something else for you on the guitar here. I have to change the distortion on the pedal to something that's going to be louder, and then I have to figure out how to, if I can get away with it. That's too loud for y'all. Get comfortable. I'm never comfortable because I got hypersensitivity, so that's another thing that messes with me about playing the guitar. I'm never fucking comfortable. It seems like a moment in my life. But anyways, let me shut the hell up and see if I can play at least some of this for you before the brain fog descends. But there's a Howlin' Wolf documentary that I watched on YouTube that had this riff in it, which was just so anyways, I know a little bit about music, so I just wrote something off of that. It's pretty simple. And now that I build it up, I will be sure to train right. I should think positively, man. If I can turn my brain off should be no problem. So anyways, a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Okay, well, not my best work, but what the hell? I got through it. My hands are not too, left one's a little bad. It's 52 hours without my poison. I don't really know the difference between Valium and benzos. I just know that one ain't no substitute for the other for me. You know, I know Valium stays in your system longer. I know Xanax peaks and goes out of your system faster, and that's why the withdrawals in Xanax are worse. My grammar just slipping. I also know that Xanax is stronger because, you know, you can take 10 milligrams of Valium and be awake. You take 10 milligrams at once of Xanax, you won't be unconscious, son. I ain't never done nothing like that. Most I ever took, I think, was 2 milligrams at once. Because, you know, my problem was over like a 2 to 3 year period. And it was a 1 milligram a day habit. So I'm down, you know, down to a quarter. And because I'm using the Valium, I'm able to stretch it now. I've had like 4 or 5 days in the last week where I was able to stretch it into the 30-hour mark between intervals. And then, okay, brain, do your stuff. And then this 53 hour now interval. I got this little shitty Keith Urban amp sitting next to the computer here. That's the humming that you hear, because it is a piece of crap. So I'm in an apartment, so I don't really care about amplifying stuff ordinarily, unless I'm making a video for my friend, or I'm making a video for you guys, who I guess I shall consider my friends. And you know, I usually just play through headphones, and I play loud and angry as shit. Mainly. Anyways, I'll try to play you one more thing. This is something I wrote. So I guess I wrote the last thing too. I just stole the Howlin' Wolf riff, Howlin' Wolf, and um, yeah, the other thing's the Sanford Son theme song. That's written by Quincy Jones, and he's a musical genius. So I guess he wrote that. He told him to write a theme song, and within 24 hours, he was like, "Here you go." But anyways, this is a nice little melody that I came up with. Um, let's see if I can do it. I wish it'd stop humming like that. And after that, there's like an up tempo part that's like I haven't mastered playing yet, and I can write music, but that don't mean I can play it. I've always had like technical difficulties, and I don't want to bore people. I know my videos are long. I know I don't have very many people that are watching, and I am very aware of my general lack of charisma and eye appeal with strangers. Once you get to know me, you're like, wow, this guy is all right, But anyway, if I clicked on one of my videos and I didn't know me, I'd be like, fuck this. I'd click right off of it too. So yeah. Anyways, I'm not being self-deprecating. I'm just being realistic. I'm a 50-year-old man, and I've been around a little, and I know how people react to me. And then, I got to be me, as they say. And so, that's the only way I can live with myself, because I can't be too phony. I'm phony sometimes with people. Like I'm a filthy-minded bastard, and I use a lot of foul language. So if I'm around, like one of my best friends doesn't use any foul language, and he's like a church person and stuff. Great guy. So I clean it up around him. I don't drop f-bombs and stuff around him. I don't talk about filthy crap too much. And then I run the spectrum where, like, I talk to my brother, who's got the most scatological, filthy sense of humor that I've ever heard. Hilarious guy. And my younger brother. So I kind of run the gamut. I try to like fit in, but then your personality ends up popping out one way or another. But yeah, I just try to not to be too offensive to people, and I try to like have that internal censor about things that I say. But you know, you are who you are, and stuff comes out how it comes out. Sometimes. So yeah, I don't know about this whole switching up the volume thing. I know I'm feeling pretty weird and pretty like, yeah, a lot of depersonalization stuff, and things look really odd to me right now. And my breathing seems a little labored and stuff. I mean, I don't know. Everybody is different. There's a lot of people that, a quarter of Xanax, a quarter milligram of Xanax is like nothing to them. It's all about tolerance. It's like my younger brother that I was talking about. I don't know how, but the dude's not a drinker, but I would drink with the dude. And I'm not a drinker either, but we used to, buy those big, they're, somebody used to call them Foster oil cans, those big Foster's cans of beers, man. He would put two of those away with no trouble, and there'd be no change in it. He's like a natural born drinker that doesn't drink. It's very weird. You ordinarily have to build up a tolerance, and everybody's constitutions they're different. I'm a delicate little sensitive flower, so yeah, I think I'm done playing, so I can turn this amp off. It's humming. You're gonna hear a pop. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Sometimes it makes a big pop. Sometimes I'll still hold the guitar just for comfort, like a teddy bear, since this is 52 hours without my stiff. Uh, yeah, I just made a video a little bit ago, but I wasn't planning really on doing this, but I got stubborn. It's like I didn't get my prescription on Friday, and I don't know. Sometimes you just get stubborn with this stuff. You're like, I don't want to take this stuff anymore. I mean, it's not an addiction. It's a physical dependence. So you're like, it's not like I want a cigarette right now. I don't have a physical dependence on cigarettes, but man, if there was a cigarette around here, I'd be smoking that thing up in 2 seconds. As a matter of fact, the other night, I don't, smokers think, well, 5 cigarettes is better than giving somebody 1 cigarette or 2 cigarettes. I always ask for like 1 cigarette or maybe two. But this person gave me 5 cigarettes. I smoked 5 cigarettes in like, I don't know, just a couple hours. And I don't have no tolerance built up for cigarettes because when I'm alone, I don't smoke. I might think about it, but I don't buy cigarettes and I don't buy tobacco. But if there's any around, I'll smoke the shit. So I got a headache from smoking 5 cigarettes, and I woke up the next day with a headache. So that's your addiction thing. This is a physical dependence, which is different. Uh, you know, I, I was gonna I did a video about the difference, and I was gonna well, I can do a video. I know it's a different world now than when I was young. You know, so I know attention spans are different and stuff. So I found a really cool way to break down the difference because you still hear people that don't understand the difference. Now I didn't understand the difference a couple of months ago because I considered myself an addict when really I had a physical dependence. Addiction is something different. Addiction is, it's in your mind, it's in your behavior. Like I don't eat a meal and then want to pop a Xanax. I eat a meal and then I want a cigarette. Or I don't see somebody that I know has pills and want to bum a pill off them, but if I see a smoker, it's really freaking sad. I mean, it's shameful, but I'm a pretty honest person. Since my legs have been messed up, my niece has been bringing me groceries, and I'm such this is addictive behavior now. She's nice enough and go out and do shopping for me since my legs messed up, and I'm asking her for a cigarette. She's bringing me all these groceries, and I'm like, "You got a cigarette?" As soon as we get the groceries put away, you got a cigarette. That's addiction, right there. That's just like a behavioral thing. Like I got stressed, when I got the 5 cigarettes off the person, I was really super stressed for a couple of days because my leg don't work. Hopefully they can fix that and I'll be all right. In the meantime, I'll be spending a lot of time with this creature right here with the ebony fretboard, which ebony is a very interesting. I don't want to bore people. I'm one of them guys that not only never knows when to shut up, but I know a lot of random stupid facts. But anyway, this is an ebony fretboard, which is part of the $1,000 price tag for this guitar, and I saw a show about it I'll never forget, where like it's ebony is such a hard wood that they treat it like metal, and they work it like metal. And I saw a show about these guys that were in Africa, because I think that's where the main ebony trees grow, and they actually have to do shifts to cut down. The tree was only like that big around. They actually, you could saw through like any other tree, like pretty damn quick. I've done it myself. I've done a little bit of that logging stuff. You can saw right through it. I mean, we used a cross-cut saw, like the lumberjacks with the handles, one handle on one end and one handle on the other end. We did some lumberjack stuff. And I had like a forestry job before my body fell apart. That my dad got a gig cutting down these black walnut trees, and that's a hard wood there. They ain't nothing compared to ebony. Anyways, these African guys, they would actually have to like have like a 3-man rotation with one guy sawing, and then when he got tired and the saw got too done or got too dull, then he would have to sit there and sharpen it up, and then another guy would get in there and he'd work his saw, and then he'd get tired out, and this tree's only like this big around. So that's how hard this ebony wood is. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be boring. I never want to be boring, but I understand that everybody's interests are different, and I also understand that my mind is tangential. It doesn't really work the way other people's minds work. So a simple story with me, there's no simple stories, because to me everything is connected. Like everything is connected to this, is connected to that. And the devil is in the details, and I like all the background around things. So um, yeah. I was trying to think of a story to tell you, but might be entertaining for you. But yeah, nothing's really springing to mind. Um, Thank you for listening to me play, listening to me talk as always. Hopefully, when I play this back, I don't cringe too much at my guitar playing. But truth of the matter is 53 hours between doses, which is a full 15 hours, 16 hours more than I've ever done before. So I'm lucky I can form a sentence. And yeah, I don't know. Like I said, people's tolerances vary, and most medications are like that with me. I'm just a delicate little flower. It's just like everything affects me a lot, it seems like. Except for morphine. That doesn't make any sense, but what about my life has ever made any sense? But yeah, when I had morphine, it would always wear off, and I'd be asking for a shot. When I had my serious health issues, I would be asking for a shot, and they're like, "You're not due for a shot for like a long time, son." And I'd be like, "Oh damn, oh damn." So, anyways, um, yeah, like Xanax had a huge effect on me. Like, thank God that I didn't develop a more than a 1 milligram a day habit. I have taken as many as 2 milligrams at a time. Um, Not often, maybe certainly less than 6 times. But my habit was 1 milligram a day for the most part, with, like I said, some variations. There might be a milligram and a half day and a couple of 2 milligram days. But yeah, they should really. The way doctors handle that stuff, again, I don't ever know when to shut up. But the way doctors handle that stuff, it's just so aggravating. You know, like my doctor is like, I was talking to my psychiatrist, and my psychiatrist, like, he's got like a grudge against doctors that are like my doctors, because I was explaining, I could see his face souring when I was explaining my doctor how he was like, we drop people off faster than that. And I told my psychiatrist, I said, the only way they would drop people faster off of Xanax than what they were doing with me at the time, before things changed, was a one and done. Here's your last bottle. Good luck to you, son. You know, you're talking about a substance that it takes many people, uh, it takes everyone, I think. You get these guys that say cold turkey and all that, and they quit cold turkey or whatever. But for the most part, I think the average person, they're going to need months to, it's going to take me 4 to 6 months just to get off of the substance. And I had only been on it for 2 to 3 years. It's going to take at least that long for, you know, this stuff can take years to get over. So the one and done thing is just cruelty. You know, it's risking people's sanity and health, and what they did with me. And, you know, I've covered this many times, and I'll cover it one more time just in case the guitar attracted somebody to watch this that hasn't watched this before. But I learned about withdrawal, at least how bad it can be, because I had a spontaneous 50% reduction in dose that I had no say in at all. He's just like, I was expecting a script for 60 pills and I got a script for 30 pills. And I'm like, well, this could be pretty bad. I had no idea how bad it was going to get. I had no idea I was going to be in bed for 2 weeks, not not eating and not sleeping and just feeling like a madman and just like laying there like a zombie. And I actually lost. You can see me. I got a little weight on me now, but I lost 12 pounds, and 12 pounds to somebody that's 6'1" and weighs 170 to 180 pounds. That's a lot of weight to lose in 2 weeks. So I lost 2 weeks because of what this doctor did to me, and that's just plain, that's assault as far as I'm concerned. That was abusive and that was assault, but it taught me. I had already wanted to quit anyway because I was watching videos that a lot of maybe people that are watching this have put out, and I know all this is redundant to a lot of people, but I'm going to say it again that I'm thankful that people put out videos, and that's part of the reason why I do mine. Most of the reason selfish, because you know, this is therapeutic to me. This was helping me get through this, to have this outlet, because I can't talk to people about this that don't have the same problem because they don't understand it, and they're not sympathetic, and sometimes they're even abusive. So this was an outlet for me because really, you know, I'm talking to people that understand what I'm going through in some cases, and at the very least, I'm talking and hearing myself talk about it, and you know, you feel like you're losing your mind while you're going through this process, and if I could, it comforted me to watch myself at least make a little bit of sense, because you do feel like you're going crazy when you're going through this, and it's a pretty awful experience, and you know, I'm coming out of it though. I'm positive I'm coming out of it. I mean, um, like I said, like 3 weeks ago, like I said in the last video, like 3 weeks ago, if you asked me when I had my last dose, I could tell you the hour and the minute and the second. I knew exactly when I took my last dose. That was like always there in my mind, and I was waiting for that 20-hour mark. That 20-hour mark is when things got hairy. Sometimes it started at 18 hours. That's when things got hairy, and that's when my heart started acting weird, and that's when things started to get bad. And then like the other day, I'm like, I didn't think about it. You know, I don't want to think about Xanax anymore. Think about alprazolam anymore. I don't want to think about it anymore. So that one day, I'm like, I hadn't thought about this like for hours. I was just going about my day, and I'm like, I wonder like when was my last dose? And I had to actually sit there and think that it was 24 hours ago. So I was like, I took that as an awesome sign that, you know, that I'm coming out of it, because before it was just like, okay, that's 12 hours, that's 13 hours, you know. It just was like I was just like consumed with it, because of, you can feel it coming on when the withdrawal symptoms would really get to you. You could really feel it coming on. So I was just waiting until I felt sick, basically. So that's why I was watching the clock so now. So now I'm able to space it out to the point where I'm not feeling sick, so my body's not reminding me of it, and I'm not thinking about it because I'm not an addict, and I don't get any particular joy or buzz out of taking the Xanax. Even when I was um, taken them before. Like I said, a joke might be a little funnier than usual. You might feel a little comfortable, a little pleasurable comfort for a brief time when it peaked, but it was nothing like, you know, like smoking pot was like 1,000 times more pleasurable than Xanax to me. Xanax was just like something that calmed me down and helped me sleep. You know, I'm not a drug guy, so I haven't taken a lot of other drugs, um, like the ones that get people off, so to speak, like meth and crack, all that stuff I was afraid of because of addiction. And I turn around and not being ignorant and not knowing about Xanax and benzos. Here I am, you know, taking this pill that's one of the most addictive and hardest substances to quit. And, you know, to me it was just another downer, and I had taken downers before and had no problem. So, anyways, this is a long video. I don't know how to make a short video, apparently. But I will make a short video, I think, at some point, just explaining the difference between addiction and physical dependence, because I got a really good analogy for it, and I can do it like really short, you know, like back in my day, you know, I go back, like I watched the Lakers on TV before Magic Johnson played, you know, so I am not a young man. So I go back to when there wasn't any cable TV, and we had 3, 5, and 8. We had local broadcast channels with CBS, ABC, and NBC, you know. So by that I'm saying I got the old man attention span, which is I can focus on a thing for a long time, like learning something on the guitar, you know. Um, I don't have the energy I had, of course, when I was younger, when I picked up a guitar. I could tell you something that's kind of funny, you know, that when I got a guitar, of course, my parents, they never encouraged me to play guitar. It was just like something I wanted to do. But, you know, they never bought a guitar for me or gave me any guitar lessons or anything like that, you know. And I'll spare you whatever explanation there was for that, but I had a female cousin named Sandy that had also happened to be left-handed like me. Now, you have to understand about the left-handed right-handed thing is like there's a 101 ratio between right-handed guitars and left-handed guitars. Like when I bought a left-handed guitar in 1996, they didn't have one in the store I went into. There wasn't even there. You know, it's a guitar store. They didn't even have one, so I had to pick it out of a catalog. You know, that's how few right-handed players there are compared to left-handed players. So another retarded thing is I'm right-handed. I write right-handed. I throw right-handed. I pound the pickle right-handed. I'm right-handed. So I started playing left-handed guitar, and which ended up being an albatross around my neck simply because that stupid Jimi Hendrix guy playing left-handed. And I'm calling him stupid merely because I used to pick up things and play them left-handed, like brooms and stuff, before I got a guitar, because I thought, oh, that Jimi Hendrix guy is cool, man. It's like, man, that guy's awesome. And then I would just like air guitar with like he did it left-handed. So then that, just from doing that on broom, I used to play brooms and stuff. I ended up being a left-handed guitar player, which is just a horrible, horrible thing to be, man. You get like this wide array. Like if you search eBay under right-handed guitars, you get like 50 billion results. You search left-handed guitars, you get 3,000 results. You know, there's just not that much out there for left-handed players. It's better now than it was. But anyways, back to the story. So I get this guitar off of my cousin Sandy, and nobody's teaching me how to tune it. Nobody's teaching me how to play it. Nobody's teaching me anything. Nobody cares that I have this guitar. Except that since I don't even know how to tune it, and I don't have any access to, you know, no internet, no way to learn, and no ride to the library even to get a damn book. You know, I'm just like playing on one string and stuff, and it sounds horrible, of course. And younger sister had a scratched cornea, and she asked me uh, very politely, "Could you please stop doing that?" And I was mad, and I was young, so I took the guitar and I did a Pete Townsend and smashed it on the arm of the couch and put it as an acoustic guitar. I put a big hole in it and I took it, threw it in the garage, you know, and that was a metal string guitar. Now that this caused me problems upon problems. That act of frustration because since the next guitar that I got was a nylon string guitar, so I learned how to play it with the fingernail. I play it like this with an index fingernail. Okay, so but then when you go back to metal strings and you're trying to play with the fingernail, within about 10 minutes, you don't got no fingernail if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, you'll catch a string underneath that fingernail and into the quick of the nail and bleed. So unless you got super hard magic nails, you can't play that way. So I had to try to adjust my technique. So I'm trying to use a pick, and I'm terrible with the pick on a metal string. And so then I tried like everything. So now I'm kind of settling on using my thumb, and I can do a little bit of finger picking. And so yeah, I made made life way harder on myself in every way, which is pure Steve. And but anyways, so I'm living in this vacuum, because I'm a super sheltered kid. My parents are unusual people, and so I had a friend of a friend of a friend, and he was taught me how to tune a guitar. And then he said, after I smashed my guitar, he's like, "Oh, I got this old guitar," and it was a nylon string guitar the one that I was talking about. So I was I thought I was a genius or whatever. So I was like, I got an idea. I can teach myself music by cutting little pieces of paper and putting the notes on the guitar, and taping them there. So I would put notes on the guitar and I'd tape them down. And then I would write music by the notes, and then I, would help me memorize the fretboard and stuff. Here they've been having they've had uh, stickers specially made for that for years and years, but I thought I was a genius. I thought I was coming up with that. It reminded me of when I was in the fourth grade and I invented uh, underwater fish radar. They already had it, but that's just the kind of life that I lived. I was very sheltered, and it wasn't so much that I was introverted. I just never went. It was just a weird existence. I just never went. Didn't. I was like. I was like in that movie Powder, man. There's a bad reference, but I was just so sheltered, that I was thinking I was having these original ideas that have existed for hundreds of years, like putting notes on the fretboard. Anyways, that's 43 minutes, and I don't. Yeah, like I said, um, I'm a talker. Uh, it ain't even really because I live alone. It's just I enjoy language, and I enjoy stories, and I enjoy the sound of my own voice. And yeah, you know how they say people are in love with their keyboards. Yeah, I enjoy making words and telling stories, and I wish I was better at it. I know I got too many digressions in my stories and stuff. It's just funny how I screwed myself over and made my life so much harder as far as playing music. Now I didn't have anybody to teach me, but there was absolutely no reason for me to become a left-handed guitarist. I was just miming Jimi Hendrix. And then I turn out and I teach myself how to play with my index fingernail as a pick, which doesn't work on metal strings. So, I could have stuck to nylon, but, metal allows you to amplify and put distortion and have all that fun now. They make guitars now, and I got one right over there that I haven't really tried to use yet, that are nylon string guitars that you can play AC/DC tones on it, which I was like, that's what made me buy the guitar. I'm like, man, if I had this when I was a kid, man, I could be a really good guitarist. But, you know, um, for the most part, nylon is associated with acoustic and finger picking type stuff. Willie Nelson played country on a nylon string guitar. But, you just got the electronic options they come up with technology now, apparently, where you can have something called, boring people again that are not into music, but they have something that's called a MIDI system, and you hook it up to this MIDI board, and you can make a guitar sound like a piano. Now, my favorite piece of music in the world is Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, which is the most ominous, gloomy. It just embodies tragedy and beauty in such a way that I'm just awestruck by it. So I was like, if I can I can actually, if I want to blow the money, make this guitar sound like a piano, because that's what you can do with it. And I could play Moonlight Sonata like I was playing the piano, except for with the guitar. You know, I don't know if I would get around to do that because it just costs. You know, I got a budget and a very tight budget. So, uh, anyways, like I said, it's just funny the way I screwed myself over with guitar and like it made it as difficult as possible for me in every way I could, except for putting the notes on the fretboard was a very good idea. It's very helpful for creating things. Uh, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. That's 46 minutes of your time. And of course, I know you're not captive and chained to the computer, and that you could turn this off at any time. And I'm sure that I get a lot of click on and clicks off within the first couple seconds because I don't look like who's a Megan Fox. I'll just pick a current. I don't look like Megan Fox or Chris Pratt. I think are the current hot people. You know my day. Yeah, that's the thing about getting old is your references. Your references don't work within age groups. It's even like and the way culture is now, it's even like the age gap can only be like 15 years or 10 years, and people won't. You're like as far as like the hip hop culture, and I was around, of course, before that. But when people make references to these songs and like I don't even know if it's called hip hop, but the rap culture and stuff like that, it's like I have no idea who they're talking about or what they're talking about, and like TV shows and stuff like that. So even with like a 10-year span, just because the world, I don't know if that's alarming to you, but it's alarming to me the way the world's changing all the time. They got cars that park themselves, man. I predate Viagra. They got pills that do the work for you. You know, I heard about something that was called a cabreject. Well, I never heard of that. Apparently, like some guy said that like the porn stars, in order to maintain an erection, actually injected into themselves, and yeah, they got this crazy stuff now that I never would have dreamed of. It's like I was talking to a friend my age, and she was like, I just hope I'm dead before they have flying cars. I don't know why she said that, but she's funny. Like, I just hope I'm dead before they have flying cars. And say, I think they have Uber cars that drive themselves and all this stuff. And yeah, the way things change so fast, I don't know if that's alarming to other people, but it's like me. I just stopped keeping track of all of it. I'm I stick to the things that are eternal. That don't change. Relationships with people and trying to be a decent person and um, you know things associated with the human condition because people are still the same. They still have the same needs and um, the same foibles, the same pratfalls, and yeah, that doesn't change. So that's kind of what I stick to. Is it's kind of what I've always been interested in is psychology, philosophy, religion, the humanities, and that kind of stuff. Because even though the people have shorter attention spans now, and it's really weird to me to sit in a for an appointment of any kind, and everybody's just doing stuff on their phone, like walled off in their own little world. And I'm like, I guess that's one way to cope with waiting to go into the dentist and get your face drilled. But I just like to talk to people. Try to talk to somebody and recognize the fact that we're in the same room together and about to experience a similar thing instead of just like I don't know if it's that people are afraid of each other nowadays what the deal is, but things were just so different. This is old man talk now, but things were just so different when I was growing up. It's like I remember we never locked the doors. You could walk into somebody's house that was just across the street from you, and they didn't even know who you are. You could just say like yeah, I'm so and so from across the street. I'm Pete's boy, and they'd be like, oh, okay, come on in. They don't even know who you are, really. You'd be at somebody's house, and which reminds me of something. This is kind of funny. Uh, I met for one of the Cavs game here about 2 weeks ago. Somebody from my generation, even like older than me, like there's a bunch of people watching the Cavs lose, and there's some drinking and some pot smoking and stuff going on, and there's like so many people there. There's no room to sit, and so this guy's there, and he comes in, and this other person's talking to him. They're like, "How much have you had to drink?" He's like, "Oh, I've only had like 2, 3 beers. I'm good to go." And he's like, "It's like I was wondering like if so and so could drive me home, if that would be okay with you, if they could use your car, and not drive me home, but drive me to a motel because I don't got no place to stay tonight." They're like, "Yeah, I don't see no problem with that." And then guy leaves. Person that was talking to her, I look at him and I say, "What's his name anyway?" And they're like, "I don't know." I turn around at the person on the other side of me and I said, "Do you know that guy's name?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Does anybody know?" Nobody knew this guy. Nobody knew this guy, but they're asking him how much he had to drink, and they're like loaning him transportation on a car to take him to a motel room. I think only one person that was there knew him, and I didn't talk to that person. So yeah, that's how things used to be back when. Before you hear all this stuff, I think the media plays it up a lot, but before you used to hear all this stuff about people killing each other all the time, and you know, and back in the day, like it was so different. Now, being an older white male, if I see a kid coming, I run. But back in the day, you could be like, "Hey, how you doing, little guy?" and put your hand out and interact with other people's kids and stuff, even if you were a stranger. But no, 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 no. It's a different world now. You know, um, like one time I was out there and this little kid come walking up to me, and I had my electric bike out, and of course, I don't know how old he was. I don't know kids' ages, but he was like fascinated by my electric bike, and he was asking me all kind of questions. And I'm looking down the road, and I see his dad walking up, and I'm like, yeah, I got to go inside now, and got the hell out of there before the dad came up. Like, I had an experience once where I was walking down the road, and this little kid is like just winging these rocks. This is a little kid, like I don't know, he's got to be like less than 5 years old, but he's just chucking these big rocks, and he got no control at all, man. He pitches like Nolan Ryan, like when he was a rookie. And so I'm walking down, and I'm just looking at this kid like to make sure that I don't get beamed in the head. And I'm looking sideways, and I almost walk right into this guy. I turn around, and there's this guy that's I'm 6'1". This guy is bigger than me. He's got a vein sticking out on his head. I still remember looking at that vein pulsing in his head, and he's got a gray A shirt on. He's like, "What the hell are you looking at?" And I said, "I'm looking at that kid over there to make sure he doesn't hit me with a rock." And I guess it was the kid's dad. And he's like, "Man, you better get your ass down the road before I kick it." And I looked at him, and I'm like, "You got it." And I walked clear around him, because yeah, it's not like I don't back in the day, I don't like used to not like backing down from stuff, especially when I wasn't doing anything wrong. But I know crazy when I see it, and I know that guy was a powder keg. I was just looking at, he had that Clint Eastwood vein like right here, like pulsing and shit. And the way he was looking at me and stuff, I'm like, so he's thinking that I'm thinking bad things, or like eyeballing his kid. For some reason he couldn't get it through his head that somebody's throwing rocks. I don't want to get hit with a rock, so that's the only reason why I'm looking at his damn kid. Anyways, like overall point being, it's like it's just a different world nowadays, and I'm not saying it's a better world. It's we got these. I just had to like stop a cat. I just had to block the cat again from jumping up on a computer, because I'm not paying him enough attention, and he is the most important person in the world according to his own philosophy. So, anyways, I should let him jump up there. That'd be a good way to end the video. You want to jump up on the computer? Put an end to the video? Come on. Come on. Jump up on the computer. Come on. You know you want to. There he is. Actually, he actually behaved himself. He actually behaved himself because he's a good dude. He's a pretty dude. Here, smile for the camera. Come here. Come here. You want petted? You got to come over here. He's a good dude. He's got a cauliflower ear. He's so sexy. You're so beautiful. You got a cauliflower ear. And he can pull off having a cauliflower ear. And everybody still says he's beautiful. Yeah. This ear right here. Right here, this one I'm rubbing. You got all blowed up that one year. And you got an infection from scratching yourself. And then you gave yourself a cauliflower ear. How about that, huh? Anyway, say goodbye to the nice people. I used to call this cat OCD, but he's a handful. He's got a personality all his own. Anyways, I'll tell you one more thing that happened that was funny this morning, which I've never seen anything like this before. But this guy, he's a mild-mannered little feller. He's a good dude. But this other cat that goes outside, this guy is a straight-up G. I had no idea the extent of his G-itude until this morning, because I was feeding him and looking for this other cat that I feed, and this other cat that I'm not real fond of because he's just such a pugnacious, ready to throw down type of animal that these cats, my cats suffer at his hands. So he's not even a big cat. He's just mad ass crazy G. So anyways, there's a raccoon out there, and I was like, the raccoon, he's hungry as hell, and he's looking at me out the window, and I throw the food down to him. This cat walks up to a raccoon and smacks it in the face. If you can imagine that. A raccoon can kill any cat. They're cool. Raccoons are cool. They interact with the cats in a peaceful manner. They don't try to do nothing to them. But this cat's trying to jack this raccoon for this food that I'm feeding the raccoon in this dish out the window, and I'm watching this shit. I'm like, holy crap. And that made me like that cat, because I was like, man, you gotta have some stones of steel to go up to a raccoon and smack it in the face and try to take its food. And the raccoon was like, he looked like a heavyweight boxer taking a shot from a lightweight. He was just just looked at. He never stopped eating. He just got smacked in the face a couple of times, and he just kind of looked at him for a second and went right back to eating. Man, he didn't even offer no fight or anything like that. Anyways, so OCD here. Don't scratch your ear, son. That's bad for you. Anyways, thank you for spending this hour with me. And come on, look at the camera, show everybody how pretty you is. There's this you kind of see his cauliflower ear. You're a pretty guy. You're just crazy, huh? You're just a crazy little feller. Yes, you just crazy. You just a crazies. You can't help that shit. You can't help that shit. No, you can't help it at all. He's a good old man. You're a good old man. Alrighty, we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.